What a lovely man, and what kind of intimidating in the sense of how healthy and fit and strong he looked. He was just a beast of a man, like massive biceps, about a 20-inch waist, thumps it. Just a really healthy looking man.
Just a healthy looking man.
He was just so
It's
healthy.
just because you're so at war with your body at the minute.
Yeah.
The first thing you see is health.
Yeah.
You're like, how healthy is this man? Oh, very healthy. 33.
But yeah, really, really nice.
33.
Is he really? Looks
like over 25.
22, doesn't he? Yeah, disgusting.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show. Thank you for joining us for another hour, likely more, always more, Joe, of equipment chat. Welcome along. Thank you for joining us. Joe, how are you, darling?
I'm all right, thank you. You come in a hat.
I'm wearing a hat.
Wearing a hat. Dan's soft launching his hat era.
I want to be a hat guy.
I like it. I've got no problem with it.
Okay, I'm uncomfortable. I feel incredibly uncomfortable.
It's just new, right?
I feel like I'm wearing a top hat. It's just a cap.
It's just new. That's all. It's new. It's going to take some getting used to.
Do you have any hat guys or girls in your life? I.e., like just someone who's always in a hat?
Caroline, my wife, suits a hat.
But would she be described as a hat woman to her friends? Like, oh yeah, she's in a hat.
Not heard her described as a hat woman, no, but very much suits a hat, and as I think you do.
And how often does she wear one? I'm just asking for a friend.
I mean, again,
how do you get this out? How do you just become a guy who just wears a hat and it doesn't matter?
You're always wearing a hat. Every Monday morning meeting we have when you've been awake for 36 seconds.
Because I've just got out of bed.
You've always got one on backwards in your pajamas.
But I want to go forwards now.
Okay.
It's a big day for me.
Well, I think the only way through this is to go at it. Yeah, face on like you're doing.
Okay. And let's hope for as little abuse as possible in the comments.
Yeah, if you could comment, just let us know what you think of Dan in a hat and whether you think he should carry on. That'd be great.
This week on Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show, away from my life, feedback from the direct-to-consumer episode. Lots of really good comments on this, so we thought we'd dedicate a bit of time to it. Joe's got some more receipts to bring from the comments that he made, which is cool. Joe's also spent his own money on a golf club, and we're going to talk about what that is and just about what that is and why. Basically,
should I prep now while you're waffling? Because they're all in the bag. I brought my own. Let's not reveal it, but the 3 versions of the one that I bought. Should I scramble around when you're
marked in the head covers? Yeah,
I'll scrabble around when you're introing it later. Okay,
great. I'm really excited for that. Thanks, Joe.
Stay tuned for that.
That's going to be a really fun part of the episode. We've got 2 Ask the Pods, which is cool. Again, your questions have been excellent. And then our last week from the British Masters, Niklas Norgaard, and Joe embarrassed himself greatly. We'll talk about that in a minute because it's not actually in the thing itself, is it? I don't think so. There's a clip of it on socials. And that's a jam-packed episode of Kickpoint, the Golf Gear Show. Joe, how are you, man? What's going on in the world with you? You said you're a bit of a golf slump again. You aren't half up and down on the old golf course, are you? Yeah,
I spin the story of my golf career, actually. I'm one of those people, when I look good, I look really good. And everyone keeps going, why aren't you on tour? You should be doing this, that, and the other. And I think, well, stick around, pal. I'll show you why in a minute. And my bad.
Watch this. My bad is bad.
My floor and my ceiling. I think estate agents would describe it as a very high ceiling. Yeah, how would you describe it? A roomy room. There's a lot of room between my floor and my ceiling.
Sounds like your One World Trade Center, Joe, and the bottom floor's a long way from the top floor.
Magic or tragic is where my golf living, and currently it's tragic. But I've done nothing about it. I am. But I'm just struggling for motivation at the moment. I feel like I've got so many personal boxes I need to tick off. Including my health and fitness.
Health and well-being.
And well-being being one. It's slowly eating myself to death. So I need to arrest that slide before I can focus on trying to improve my backswing position. So yeah, we'll get there, but it's not in a good place at the moment. What about you? Have you played any?
Oh, I've been away. I fulfilled my goal that we set at the start of the year, putting 12 cards in this year. I think I'm at 15 now. My handicap's gone up 0.1. Okay. So even though I hadn't put cards in,
it was
actually about right.
Yeah.
So I think I'm forever destined to be a 6-ish handicap, which is perfectly healthy for me. New irons in the bag. My Titleist irons arrived. I had a couple of games before I went away. I've not been back out since. So that's going to be fun to work on for a bit. And Royal Fulford's green again. Goodness me, it's finally rained.
Brown that last time you reported about Royal Fulford.
Yeah, not excited to have to actually carry the ball certain distances. But anyway, it's not bad. I like golf. It's fun. I like playing golf.
Good chat. So anyway, we're going to get on to the direct consumer feedback, aren't we? So we had a little chat about best what did I do? I built my best direct-to-consumer bag, didn't I?
We did a special, and it was probably about 5-6 weeks ago now. Go find it on YouTube and Spotify, wherever you're listening to us, and listen if you haven't already. And yeah, you did you broke down what a D2C brand is, where the gaps are largest versus the big OEMs, and then built your best bag of DTC stuff. Club stuff. Terrible use of English.
But a lot of people had a lot to say, didn't they?
Loads. So I want to do a few bits first. Firstly, sub 70 kept coming up in the comments as clubs that I believe people rate really highly. We haven't tested them yet, which is why we didn't speak about them. But I don't know. Do you have anything to say about that?
I've made contact.
Good.
That's a big oversight on my part because I was well aware of sub 70. I know someone who's quite heavily, a couple of guys I knock around with in Devon were quite pretty linked with the brand. I think they were using, one of them was sponsored a YouTuber, had a little tie-in. So I'd seen the product, really like it. I knew John Daly was using it. There's a guy I know in the States who's quite heavily involved. So it was so on my radar that I just, having not tested it and having not got around to test it, it didn't pop in my brain. But yeah, there's a lot of people mentioning sub 70s. That's something we're going to get stuck more into. Hayward Golf was another one. I was just
about to mention them. Have you done much research into them? Because that name hadn't even crossed my radar.
Again, heard it, but couldn't tell you much about it. Forward Golf was another one that people were talking about regularly. It's big in.
But they've come up before we did the DTC thing because they do custom bounces in irons, which is something, bounce and grinds, which you rave about wanting to have.
Yeah, so there's like anything, this never-ending pit, isn't it, of golf equipment. So I can't. I'm just going to have to keep working my way through and plug in the gaps of what I've not tested. And some of these companies don't like sending you things, like Miura don't send samples out. There's a number of companies that won't supply samples. So if I haven't tested some of these products, it can be because of that, or it can just be pure oversight. But yeah, there's a few people saying kind of great information. Thanks for this. Prove it. Have you got any receipts? Wasn't it really about
a couple of comments on socials about that? And what we've done today is bring you those darn receipts. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
What do you got for me?
Well, okay. So some irons. So basically, I was saying, in terms of the gaps that I see when I test in terms of raw data, and even some of the unquantifiables of appearance, of design, and things like that, I feel like the gap is well and truly shut now. Like not just closing. I feel like you will get as good a product, honestly, from a few of the D2C brands that you would from any of the big four or major manufacturers outside of that. And just, again, I can only go on what I see, and there's a couple of things I want to talk about afterwards, but pure data-wise, let me just give you an example. So the Takomo 301 MB, which I think are $499 a set for to pitching wedge.
Crazy value.
Incredible feeling clubs. Let me just give you some raw data. Ball speed from a 34 degree 7 iron, I was getting 126.3, 16.3 degrees of launch, 7,300 revs of spin with a peak height of 109 feet and a carry distance of 178 yards. So a couple I wanted to put them up against, some good solid blade representation. Titleist 620 MB, Mizuno Pro S1. So let's go ball speed to start with. So the Titleist 620 MB, I mean, ball speed's not your first port of call when it comes to a blade, but I'm just comparing data, so I'm getting an overall picture. 125.4, so within a mile an hour. So it was, the Takomo MB was a little bit quicker, but that's at 34 degrees, and the 7 iron of 620 MB, 35 degrees. Mizuno Pro S1, so like for like, 34 versus 34, that was 127.1 versus 126.3 of the Takomo MB. So again, within a mile an hour. So hugely comparable. 16.3 launch versus 17.1 of the 620 MB. So it launched a touch higher, and 16.2 of the Pro S1. So basically identical. All three spins were basically 7,300 revs. So 323 on the Takomo, 308 on the MB, and 288 on the Pro S1.
That's so minuscule revs, in that category. Yeah,
nothing happening there. Within 6 feet of peak height, so 109 Takomo MB, 103 620 MB, and 107 Pro S1, and the carries within 3 yards. So the Titleist 620 MB was the weakest at 127, but it was the highest loft. Takomo MB was 178 for me, and the Pro S1 was 179. So those
172 for the Titleist. I think you just said 127.
What? For the Titleist, 176 carry.
Sorry, I misheard you. I thought you said 127 carry.
No.
Let's
Let's just recap that. The Takomo MB was 178 yards a carry, 176 for the Titleist, so within a couple of yards, and 1 yard more for the Mizuno Pro S1 at 179. So you're basically just looking at the same club there. I could use the Takomo MB the next day and I would probably get an identical set of data to the Pro S1, and there's just nothing in it from a raw data point of view.
If I blind delivered those numbers to somebody, you'd go, and I say, which one do you want? You'd say, I don't care. They're all going to do the exact same thing.
And then,
from a pure data point of view.
Yeah, and then you're going down the route of, well, how are you making a selection there? Price is one thing, so you'd clearly go for the Takomo in that instance. Finish is another thing. Now, I really like the look of the Takomos. I like the minimalism, really neat, really clean. I don't know if there's anything quite as clean as that 620 MB. It's a beautiful looking blade. And the Pro S1, one of the best looking clubs. I like the finish of that. So, you might look at that and go, I think there's probably a little bit more aesthetically in maybe both the Titleist than the Mizuno, but is that enough to spend another £700? Don't know. It's touch and go. Feel, turf interaction. Well, I think the Takomo felt softer than anything that I've tried. I've said this before, and that was the bit where I got people saying, "Oh, you're telling me that things manufactured in China and Taiwan could possibly be yeah, I am, mate. I still am.
I love your generic commenter voice. It's always quite up itself.
It is, and that's how I read it from them sometimes. So yeah, but I get it. People have been force fed the notion that the only high quality golf club you can ever have forged has to come from 700-year-old men hand forging them in Japan.
The men aren't 700 years old.
Yeah, they would be if you believe some of the stories. And if you're told that long enough, you can't possibly believe that. But I would implore you, go and try it. Go and take it out to Takomo against some of these other clubs, and you tell me that it feels any worse. And again, that's all subjective.
You'd fight somebody about it.
I don't know if I'd do that. I don't know if I care that much, but incredibly soft, just really good feeling clubs. Now, something came up that someone mentioned. It was quite pertinent in the comments, and I can't disprove or prove this, but he was kind of saying, well, look, I think no doubt for £499 here versus 1,200 quid are lower grade steels being used, are the billets to start with not as, haven't been selected as meticulously. And then if that's the case, down as the years progress, is there going to be some more wear and tear on the Takomo irons? Yeah. Is there, are the grooves going to degrade quicker because some of the let's say some of the materials may be a lower grade? I don't know is the answer to that. Number one, I don't know. Couldn't really tell you. I'm not a steel expert in grading and stuff like that. And also, for me, just by nature of what I do, I'm not going to get 6 years of use out of a set of irons solely because I'll have to test so many and move about to find that out. So it's a potential thing to consider.
What if it's a false economy? Like, yeah, it's great. These are 500 quid,
but you need to change them every year.
And we did speak last week on quality control, and perhaps it isn't as good. There's a couple of loft measurements on these D2C brands that didn't quite work for the driver.
I do always check these because I like to make sure that I'm getting the data accurate on my loft and line machine, and I've never had. I can't think of a single instance where I've had a set of irons delivered from D2C or major manufacturers when I've measured the 7 iron, it hasn't been exactly what it's stated.
There's that backs up your argument that the gap is closer in irons because it's a lump of metal.
Yeah,
and it's easier to do and put together. Even the tolerances are tighter, whereas you move into the DTCs with drivers and the QC's harder to control.
Moving parts, composite crowns, this glued to this.
That actually hammers that home more for you.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. So yeah, that's what I saw in that. But other people have said, well, maybe it's more in the techier irons whereby flexing faces, the materials used in hollow body, maybe that's where the research and the development you're seeing big differences. Again, I mean, I've cherry picked these just because it's a video I did, which was TaylorMade P790 versus the Maxflies. Remember the Maxfli XC2s?
Yeah, we liked them.
So this was a fairly good comparison simply because they're basically the same loft. 30, 7 iron in the P790, 30.5 degrees in the XC2s. And, there were some differences, and it was a, if you watch the video, you can see that on YouTube where I'm looking at the Maxfli, easy to find. an interesting option in the hollow bodies. These are quite different irons. But anyway, 126.8 miles an hour from the 7.9 and the P790, 129.5 from the XC2. So despite having half a degree less loft, quicker. So coming off nearly 3 miles an hour quicker, which is a lot. Launching higher as well, 17.4 versus 16.6 of the P790. Spinning more, 6,644 revs versus 6,124 of the P790. So the peak height was quite different in that it launched lower and span less, this P790. So getting 96 feet out of that versus 114 feet out of the Maxfli XC2. But because of that more boring flight, kind of the XC2 is spinning up a little bit more on me on average. 183 carry versus 190. So
wow.
Was a reasonably significant difference there. Now, maybe I've picked maybe the wrong two to compare there in hindsight, because it almost felt to me when I was doing that video that Maxfli was trying to fill a different part of that area, not creating just a pure distance. It was kind of a distance with optimal launch and height and stuff. But again, I can only go down as I was looking through my sort of data master list, which I've got as a spreadsheet here. I'm not looking and seeing, even in those hollow-bodied or the game improvement irons, a divide here. I'm not looking and going, like, oh, look, the top half is all Titleist, Callaway, Ping, and the bottom half's all Hogan, Takomo, Tour Edge, etc. It's
they're
all
in there. They're just
mingled. It's all, and they're all just doing slightly different things, but not necessarily better or worse. Now, again, some people might say, look, with these thin faces and the flexible faces, are you going to see more breakages from a Takomo 101T or the Maxfli, for example? Well, I've seen or heard no evidence thereof. I've seen no distance degradation through, again, admittedly, I only get small windows with these irons.
But Takomo have been out long enough in the world now that if that was a trend, we'd be seeing it on the forums.
Yeah, you'd hear it all over the internet. You'd see it all over Instagram.
Because people are desperate to prove this wrong. And so if there was even a whiff of it, it'd be out there by now. And I can't see or prove me wrong otherwise, but I haven't seen or heard any of that. So though it's a fair argument you're making that this could be an issue, it's not happening.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, anyway. And then in driver, we spoke about driver. Yeah, and we spoke about driver being maybe that's where the gap's widest. And again, it's difficult. I could just put the whole data tables of everything I test up, and you can make your own minds up. Which at some point I'll definitely do that. But just as an example, one driver that I really liked, which was the Vice, the VGDO 1 Plus. 171 ball speed. Put it up against, say, the TaylorMade QI35 here, the core model. QI35 was quicker, 2.5 miles an hour nearly. So 173.4 ball speed versus 171. The Vice launched higher, 13.1 versus 11.8. Span very similar, 2,200 from the Vice, 2,300 from the QI35. Within 10 feet of height of one another and within 4 yards of carry. So 297 for the Vice and 301 for the TaylorMade QI35.
So again, not that much.
There's a little gap there, but it's very, very comparable. And 4 yards is not an awful lot when you're talking about £200-300 worth of difference. And again, there's a lot of stuff that people could you can prove your point in any way you want through an argument, can't you? Say, well, yeah, that's not going to last. Like we said,
you can find something to say and suggest otherwise, can't you? Anyway, everyone can.
And again, there was kind of there was something else that became apparent with. Like the My Golf Spy ball testing, and I've seen conversations on ball testing, and I did a video about Kirkland balls against the Titleist Pro V1 with the Kirkland driver and the Titleist drivers, and I had a bit of correspondence afterwards with manufacturers and some people, and you've got to be careful sometimes how you test, because if you're hitting balls on a GC quad launch monitor, for example, that machine is measuring spin rate, ball speed, launch angle of that like a couple of feet coming off the club face. Now, what companies like Titleist, for example, would argue is that where their ball comes into its own is the dimple patterns and the aerodynamics downrange. Have you ever heard the term spin decay?
Yeah, we've spoken about it.
Have we? Yeah. So they would argue that that's great that ball is doing that off the face, and I'm now claiming that that's as good a performing golf ball as the Titleist Pro V1. Their argument would be, if you go to their ball testing facility and watch the spin and get at the peak of its flight and see how much spin X ball, Kirkland, whatever, has maintained versus the Pro V1, it's chalk and cheese, and you'll see completely different land angles and you'll see completely different spin readings if you measured it not just a foot off the face. And I've seen little bits of that. I was a bit like, oh yeah, of course, another one of those things that I don't have the capability to measure that you're claiming is a thing. But I've seen bits of it. I was out testing a ball a couple of weeks ago now that I liked the feel of, and when I was chipping around the green with it, I thought this is great for its price. And then I took it out on the course and I just got such inconsistent distances.
Interesting.
Like I'd have a wedge that would come off, and then you go, my goodness, that's gone like a 7. Like it would just come off and with no spin. Take off high and no spin. It's going 25 yards longer than I needed it to go. And you're like, what? Like from the fairway, not just like rough flyers here. And then all of a sudden I'd hit another one. Again, really similar strike. And I know what I'm doing. I can hit a golf ball and then it would just, maybe catch the wrong orientation or something and spin up. And I was just like, there is no way on earth in the same directions these holes are traveling, with the same swing on strike I've just put on that, there's a 30-yard difference between these golf balls. And yeah, I'm starting to get, it's been an area I've never paid that much attention to. I've always been more clubs and components and stuff like that, the building stuff. But the more I have had a little play around with some of these other golf balls and manufacturers, and you start to really think about what you want and how you test golf balls, that isn't just, right, I'll whack a few in the net off this mat, get some spin reading from GC Quad or GC3 or whatever. I think when you do break it down and go, I need to get this on the golf course, I need to see how consistently is it hitting those numbers. And again, time is a difficult thing. We've got so many clubs and balls and other stuff to test. So to consistently go and play 9 holes and keep an eye on the consistency of a ball flight, it's not that feasible. If it was the only thing you had to do, great. And if you want to go and just hit them on the practice ground and measure consistency, well, generally speaking, most of these companies will only send a dozen or at best a couple of dozen. So you're going to go and hit 12, walk 178 yards, pick them up, go back, do another 12. So there's it can be difficult, but I am noticing more and more. I'm going to be a lot more careful with golf ball moving forward. I've generally played the same ball anyway, and have, but I was entertaining the idea of dropping down and popping this in and popping that in. But it opened my eyes when I played that slightly a ball that I've tested that I sort of gave a pretty good review as well, and then putting it into practice on the golf course for I was going to say 18 holes. I managed 11 with it, and when one like perfectly struck 7-iron that was all over the pin just came down on the front bank of a par 3 and rolled back into the water. I was just like, there's not a chance that shot has just flown 162 yards. No way on earth. I just like, no, that's not playable. No. That is not predictable. And I'm sure you'll say it was my fault, but it wasn't.
Anyway, where did we go?
I don't know. We've just decided we were going to get a bit chatty on these rather than segments. It's a risk, isn't it, with us?
Thank you for your comments on direct-to-consumer brands. Joe, as he's very good at, is working on, trying to get to test some more of these you mentioned. H was one that came up from Aussies.
Okay.
H-A-I-T-C-H for
okay,
H.
yeah, sorry, yeah. What on earth you were going on?
I was sort of making noises at this stage. Yeah. So we'll try and test them. If there's any others, again, that you want us to test, whack them down in the comments below. And there's your receipts for haters in the world. Now, as Joe stands up, he's going to reveal a set of golf clubs, one of which he's bought with his own money, which is a man who gets given everything in the golf world.
In life,
look at you. Good head of hair for your age.
Yeah.
Lovely family. Great job.
Yeah. Great friend and co-host.
All the stuff in the world. Has gone out to golf clubs to cash and spent his own hard-earned money on a golf club, which seems like a very strange thing to do for a man who gets given everything. Why and what is it?
On this little beauty. So if anyone's ever seen my What's in the Bag, which we might have done because it's been on the channel, hasn't it?
Yeah, go find it.
Apex, I think this was in it actually.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the Apex UW, original Callaway Apex UW, 17 degrees, been in my bag for ages. A couple of them, and it just came from a point where I was hitting a very strong 3-wood or even a mini driver. And I think first year just came because I really liked the look of the sort of half and half head, like half hybrid, half fairway wood.
What is it?
It's just like if a fairway wood and a hybrid had a baby. I'll tell you the the sort of aerodynamics and the flight characteristics you get from it in a minute. But I was always intrigued by it. Loved the look of it. First saw it as a prototype in Phil Mickelson's bags a year ago, and then when it came to Mark, I was like, yeah, need to be getting on. And just as soon as I hit it, I just loved everything about the ball flight characteristics. High launching, but low spinning. So I've never been a 5-wood player or a 7-wood player because they'd launch high and they'd keep spinning and then
never come down,
come back over my head. It was just unplayable in any more than a 0.8 mile an hour breeze. And then the Apex UW came out, slightly shorter in shaft, comparable to lofts to the fairway woods, which I liked for a sense of control. And just CG-wise, very low and very forward. You can see the weight in the sole of that OG, low and at the front. So what that does is help with launch, but also manages spin. So these go up, but don't spin up. So you get the high launch, you get the descent angle to help stop on the ground. But also in the OG here, you've got this stepped sole where at the front you've got a raised area and you've basically kind of got like trailing edge relief towards the back. And these are designed to be picked off the turf and hit off grounds and out of rough and stuff. So the idea of having some sole topography that helps with that as well. So I think that's come twofold. I think obviously number one, the more mass and substance you got at the front here, we're moving that CG forward, which is help controlling that spin. But the byproduct of that is having this kind of step sole at the back. Turf interaction is incredible. So when you tough lies, when you just anything on the fairway, it's just so easy to pick off and just brilliant. I had the 17 degree for ages and still have that, and that's always in the bag. And there was a couple of courses I was playing on, some press trips and things like that, where just a few carries over water when you're just not playing very well, and like all of a sudden just trying to cut up a 3-iron into those is a bit. And I thought, well, if I don't get something now, it's going to be very difficult to get hold of at some point. So I've been keeping my eye out for the 21 degree version.
Found of the OG, which is 2021?
Yeah, of the OG. Found it on Golf Clubs for cash. 169 quid, I think, or something I paid for it. Spoke to my friends at Fuji, who kindly gave me a nice Ventus 9X shaft for it. Shafted it up exactly the same as I have my 17 degrees, obviously just a little bit shorter. And it's just a really nice little option. And I was so determined to get this model because it was such a, unicorn's the wrong phrase, but it's such a brilliant club that, you know, if I waited another 2 years and was all of a sudden like, oh, I wish I'd have got that, they might just all have a load of roof marks, or like this was a really... So
that's the reason you've gone and bought it yourself. Like, I need to strike while the iron's warm at this stage.
Yeah.
It's a fairly old club, and not A, wait for them to go out of circulation, or B, wait for them to get battered by everybody before I can go and get it.
Correct. So that's why that's there now. I've got peace of mind that's...
So that's the 21 version that you've got two of in the bag.
Subsequently, a friend of mine who... we mentioned a lot, Paul Hendrickson. He's notoriously one of the tightest men in the world. It's actually he had a 17 and a 19 of the OG, and I've not got the 19. And he just said, "Joe, you like these? I've got no use for them. All yours," and just gave me them. So I've got those on the back burner for when my 17 wears out.
I was going to say, are you now going to start getting? Well, we'll come on to that. Kind of perfect segue. You're going to get more and more, or there is a 23 version, which as the equipment junkie Tej, who we all follow, I'm sure you do as well. Good equipment. I guess he is a journalist.
We've got a lot of very similar. What I like about Tej is he's very outspoken. And we've got so many things that we sort of both write about and say. I'm just like,
what went wrong with the middle child? Because the new one's come out very recently. We'll talk about that in a second. What went wrong with the middle one?
For me, I wasn't as detailed as Tej on this. Like, I just looked at it and the soul to me,
it's chalk and cheese.
Basic. Like, I don't like the font. I don't like the colours. It looks package set.
Yes.
It's something just doesn't look great. The weight's not as far forward as it was before. You've lost the stepped sole of something that was so nice in terms of turf interaction. That completely disappeared. When you put it in down behind the ball, the profiles are identical, like completely identical. Let me just show you down here. So that's the 21 version versus 23. You're not seeing much in that from a head shape point of view, are you? So,
but the sole is, like you said, that looks like that. The 21 version is a refined, proper players club.
It took a real step back.
The package set look at that sole is ridiculous. What's happened there?
And it's not a bad performing club. It will still do a job, but it's, you know, you've just taken something that's working incredibly well. Right, we need to give it a refresh, but you've given it a refresh and lost one of its best characteristics, which isn't great, and just dumbed down the look, and that looks sophisticated and refined and super premium, as you like. I like to say, Dan.
Super premium.
And it was just a real step back. And I don't mean to diss Callaway here, because I'm going to end on a real positive.
The 25.
The 25 version.
Third gen.
Really cool. Haven't done much testing with it yet because I've been a busy little soldier, but I've hit a couple. And I think we're back.
We're so back, baby.
I think
we are back.
I think we are back.
So look
at the sole on that. We're back in business.
Better, much more refined.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. The finishes are better.
We've got 3 screws in the front here this time.
Correct, but I mean,
not so what. Where's the 21?
So basically, without getting too techie here, because I haven't done the full review as of yet, you can.
Is it the same as them? But then
we've kind of got a multi-material thing. There's a suspended weight behind the face here to help with face flexion. We've got the stepped sole back. They've changed some weight distribution, so you'll now notice on the top there we've got a little banner strip.
Okay.
So we've got a carbon crown now, so they've saved weight from there. They've moved that weight even lower and deeper to get launch up and spin down, even more so than the 21 version. And I just think we're back. I didn't think I'd like the sort of banner strip on the front. It's fussier than it was, but I don't think it looks bad at all.
It's not too obvious, is it? It's not as big as on that Elite long drive head we have a look at the other day.
They've added a 23 degree version because of the...
Load your bag up with them.
Yeah.
Let's get 4 of them.
Yeah. Got cranking them up to like 56. So yeah, and for me, again, if you're the type of person that likes the idea of a 7-wood or a 9-wood, and you're seeing your Fleetwoods and your Fitzpatricks and your Hattons and people doing that, but every time you do it, you just hit this fizzy, spinny, high floaty thing that goes about 150 and can't fathom out how Fleetwood's hitting it 230. It's just spin. It's just excessive spin, and some people's deliveries don't suit that, and I'm one of those. I would hit an equivalent distance 23 degree 9-wood, if you like, 15 to 20 yards shorter than I would hit this, because it's spinning about 1,000 revs less for me, but I'm still getting the height from the launch because the CG is so low and forward. And I just love the neatness and compact little heads. Also, a masterstroke from Callaway is they created these with a 335 tip size, a hosel size. So basically, most hybrids would have 0.370, I think it is, tip size, which means that you've got only hybrid shafts go in. And there's a much more limited selection of hybrid shafts that people would like. So they kind of, obviously, despite it being really like between a hybrid and a fairway, they pick the right side of the road for me with the tip size, because you can get every fairway wood and driver shaft that you want in there.
Good.
So yeah, I just think it's such a hole filler for me personally, but I just think there's an awful lot of people that would benefit from them, and I'm really glad that they've made a significant comeback with the 25 version. It's really good.
It feels to me though like it's going to take a lot. You've got a lot of reverence for the OG, haven't you? You've got to. You bought one with your own money, for goodness sake.
Correct.
Is it going to take a lot for this thing? I know you in your early stages of testing. It's going to take a lot to take them out, isn't it?
It would. Now I can sort of empathise with, the tour pros who were saying they're all using old equipment, particularly at 17 degree. You've seen me. I remember when we played at JCB and I was using it every other hole because we were quite forward tees and there wasn't room for driver. It's just autopilot for me. It just pops up beautifully high, doesn't overspin, and goes
safe, all these things we talk about.
Yeah, and it just goes kind of 250 to 260 carry. So I'm always in control of it. So it'd take an awful lot. I can't see what performance benefit I would see from this that I'd go, well, I have to use that versus that, because that does everything I could possibly want it to do. But people like nice, shiny new things. So if it did exactly the same, I might just go, oh, come on, time for an upgrade.
Oh, hello, come on in the bag.
Come on in. Yeah.
I love the reverence of that club, and it feels like a real trusty soldier for you with a lovely head cover on it. Ever get hungry and mistake that for a fab?
It's very good, isn't it? That's from, I think it was a limited edition from the ladies, from the Women's British Open, I think it was.
Tasty head covers. Good work, Joe.
Have you ever tried
the UW?
Hit
one of these. I've never hit one.
Let me just check while you're chatting away.
Do they do them in
left-handed? And I will get you one, Dan.
Could you?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I think it could suit me, that, I think.
Could do,
I like
yeah.
the idea of it. I love the way you talk about it. It makes me really want one myself. Okay, while Joe types and tests away. It's time, Rhea. Yeah. It's for our favourite part of the show. Hopefully yours as well. It's Ask the Pod. There it is. Ooh, ooh. Any good? No, ask the pod. Ask the pod.
Ask the pod. Ask the pod. Ask Callaway to do it left-handed.
To make a flipping left-handed UW. That's not on.
Am I?
Are those out of stock at the minute?
Yeah, I'll double check on this, but it's not
this.
certainly not coming up as an option for me.
Taking the jam right out of my donut.
I'm really sorry about
That's
that.
Okay. Well, it's time for our favourite part of the show, and hopefully yours as well, where you get to have a question answered by us. And actually, Joe, I'm going to really quickly. I know you answered this gentleman on YouTube yourself, which you often do, which is great. But I wanted to talk about it because it links to the UW which I'm talking about. It's from Mark in Ashby de la Zouche. Sorry, no, this was an email because he's Mark from Ashby de la Zouche.
De la Zouche.
I bought a car from Ashby de la Zouche.
Oh, I was going to ask if you knew where it was.
Yeah, I bought a Peugeot.
Okay, my sister-in-law was born in Ashby de la Zouche, and her parents still live there. Alan and Mary. Hello, how are you?
Why is it all posh all of a sudden?
Carry on. Well, they're well-to-do people.
In Ashby de la Zouche.
Correct.
Absolutely. Hi there. I know Joe waxes lyrical about his utility woods. Haven't we all just heard about it? Literally
never
just
waxed
now.
my lyrical.
He's not in public.
Okay.
But at the same time, like myself, he's a tall guy with upright lie angles on his irons. I've been put off the UW on the belief they may play or simply just look a bit flat. Does Joe have tour source to make them more upright, or does it simply not affect his visuals at address or performance? Thanks, Mark.
Really simple, easy answer. No tour source. You can, I think the guys on tour have the molds to stick those in a compressor and bend them to an exact lie angle and exact loft, but it's not consumer available. Certainly, I've not done it. And yeah, I prefer much more upright looking and playing clubs in general. Like my irons are 3 degrees upright, and yeah, they do play a touch flat, but I've never noticed the problem with it at all. I never lose it right. That's as simple as I can put it.
That's it. So even though you like it upright, these are fun.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they do. They. I can't remember the exact lie angle. That's something I will do actually because I want to get into the DNA of these. So I'll get them on my little Dela Cruz machine and figure out exactly how flat they are. But they just don't look it. And I think sometimes it's probably actually a good point here when you can affect the. If you're someone who's sensitive to the look of lie angle more so than the performance element, you can actually kind of cheat it a little bit with club head configuration. So there's the Apex UTs are a good example of this. So the utility iron. There's a couple of irons, more recent ones, the one that's just come out and the model before that hasn't had a massive amount of tour take up because when you're looking at it face on here, I've got the face pointing the camera. You'll notice on this, the Apex UW, see how it pinches in quite low here on the heel section and it's gradually raising quite significantly higher there. So the toe section is quite a bit higher. So despite the fact that these lines will stay parallel, you can see there's more gap above the top groove over there than there is over here. So when I look down on that at address, that toe's closer to me. So it appears more upright, even though the face isn't orientated to the top edge. So when you get the top edge a lot more angular or a higher toe on the top edge, it looks a lot more upright, but it isn't actually playing that more upright.
But
so it's
it
an
makes
optical
you feel
illusion.
comfortable
so
as
for
someone who likes seeing upright.
Exactly. So for someone who likes seeing upright, likes seeing that toe up and fears right, I get the confidence that that's not going right, and I never think, oh, but hang on, it's not matched up to the grooves, and because it just doesn't play like that for me. And the Apex UTs, if you look on tour, there's an awful lot of tour players in the older models of Apex UTs for that exact reason, because they had a lot higher toe. Callaway have gone quite flat on the top edge of the Apex UTs this year and last year, and to my knowledge of the people I've spoken to, that's why they've struggled to get in as many bags on tour, even though a lot of players like the look of flat and like the feeling of not losing it left. It seems to be in those utility irons, you want to be able to turn them over, and when they look too flat and the toe's going away, they've not liked that look. So someone like Rahm, for example, in a very old model of the Apex UT, because that toe's a lot higher and it looks like it's not going to go as far right.
Interesting. So there you go, Mark. Though you like Joe, you like the more upright. you should be able to get away with this. Give it a go. Give it a go.
100%.
Don't be scared. Right. Our pod number 2 this week. John from Leicester's been in touch on email. Hello, chaps.
Big Midlands
East Mids
correspondence
today. We're
today,
East Mids today. Yeah, we're really locking in on that region, which is fantastic. I've recently purchased an all-fit adapter, having seen your clip on social media recommending it. Good work. However, I love my Ventus Blue driver shaft and never want to change it. Looking forward to the new driver releases next year, as I haven't upgraded for a while. But I wanted to know, is it rude for me to wander into a fitting with my all-fit adapter on my shaft and just try heads? It's quite a funny concept he's come up with there. And I think, if he just wanders in, well, listen, I don't need your fitting expertise. I've got my Ventus Blue. Got my all-fit adapter shaft.
Yeah.
Let me just hit all of these heads. It's an interesting concept.
I think you've got to set aside the rude and the personal elements here. If that's a shaft that you love, performs how you want it to, and you could save a lot of time here by not going through trying 6 different shafts to find the ideal head shaft combo. If that's the shaft you want to work with, then all you're doing, you're eliminating one section, and the fitter should be delighted. They don't have to kind of analyze data on shafts and pick out what's working like that. Here's the shaft we're working with. Let's just load it up with heads and let me see the data and what feels best and what the numbers are coming out at. I don't think that's rude at all. It's only like going into a hairdresser with a picture of the haircut you want. People do that all the time.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
fine. I think that's a similar thing.
Let's take the social situation out of this.
I think it's a really
that makes
sensible
complete
thing
sense,
to do.
doesn't
Yeah. If there was something radically new and exciting shafts that you're like, you might just be doing yourself an injustice here by not having that as an availability, trying the Matrix, then yeah, but I haven't seen something like that for a while. I quite like it, and I've got some all-fit stuff here. Which
can you remind those may not know what that is. We've kind of jumped over what that is. Just tell everyone what the all-fit adapter is. It's fairly self-explanatory.
Yeah, I think it's
all-fit.
I think it coming into launch season as well. We're going to see a load of new drivers now. We're going to see some new TaylorMade product for sure. We're going to see some new Callaway stuff, and plenty of others. And if you are someone in that, you're just happy with that shaft and you've been playing it for a while, this would probably be a really good. So it's an adapter, essentially a driver adapter. It would just slip on like your normal TaylorMade or Ping adapter, and then you can get. I've got a whole set of them for testing here, where you can get coupling pieces where in these little bags. This one is a Tour Edge adapter, for example. Yeah, I think what was the other one? I've got PXG one down there. So you get these little coupling pieces that just slide on, have little teeth that fit in there to keep it secure. And the top of that coupling piece is now compatible with a Tour Edge driver. So you can just slip that driver on, and that shaft will now work with the Tour Edge driver. You can go up and down in loft here, 1.5 degrees down and 1.5 degrees up. You've got an upright and flat side of the sleeve. So it's not going to correspond perfectly to the individual sleeve that you use because they have different measurements.
Yeah.
But you can get ballpark, and you can certainly put that head on the driver shaft of your choice. And then when you finish with that, you just take the coupling piece off, put it back in the bag, get the PXG one out, slot that on.
Switch it over.
And then go and try the new PXG head that's about to come out. And you're eliminating a variable there straight away. Very few, a lot of the fitters you go to might use these anyway, or Club Connects is another company that does this. But if you're someone who likes to tinker and you've got a shaft that you've known works for you forever, but you just like trying out the new heads, well, brilliant. Go and get yourself an all-fit adapter, and whenever launch season comes around, just walk in with your little walking stick, give me some heads, I'll take care of this, let's see the numbers. And I just think it's brilliant. I think it's a really good system.
I think as well, it depends on kind of fitting locations that are local to you, but if your local fitting location doesn't quite have the shaft matrix, or you don't want to be chopping, like you can't have the same shaft in all of the heads, this is a perfect way to really test the driver heads for what they are for your swing, providing you have the right shaft. Obviously.
Yeah, and also what we said before about it, we've got a lot of club nerds, if you want to call us that, watching and listening to this, and then your driver setup's going to be the perfect length, tipped correctly for you, have your grip on it in the orientation that you want that grip as well. So you're eliminating an awful lot of variables, and then straight away, some manufacturers offer head only as well. So there's a way of potentially saving some money there, or ordering in a stock model of that TaylorMade drive that comes with its stock shaft without the 240 quid upcharge because you've already got that shaft. So it's a sensible way, I think, of testing golf equipment, just getting one or two of these all fit adapters and getting your shaft ready for testing.
Get your shaft ready for the new season, Joe. It's coming.
That's
Goodness
what I
me.
think.
It's back round again very soon. Indeed, thank you for your questions. Kickpointpodcast@futurenet.com is where you can reach us on email, YouTube comments. We check those regularly, or DM us on somewhere like Instagram. If you've got any questions, they're very good questions as well, and they're getting better and better. And we thank you for your correspondence. What's in the bag time, Joe?
Who have we got?
Niklas Norgaard, your friend.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? What happened to, have we done both Ewan Ferguson and Romain Langas?
Those are the two last weeks just gone.
Okay, I'm just out of touch with batch filming. It's been a long day. Niklas Norgaard.
What happened here?
Oh, man. Well, firstly, what a lovely man, and what kind of intimidating in the sense of how healthy and fit and strong he looked. He was just a beast of a man, like massive biceps, about a 20-inch waist, thumps it. Just a really healthy looking man.
Just a healthy looking man.
He was just so
It's
healthy.
just because you're so at war with your body at the minute.
Yeah.
The first thing you see is health.
Yeah.
You're like, how healthy is this man? Oh, very healthy. 33.
But yeah, really, really nice.
33.
Is he really?
He's
Looks
a day over 25.
22, doesn't he? Yeah, disgusting. Yeah, and obviously, again, you've probably seen it, but in the sort of preamble before we were filming, just trying to make a bit of small talk, asked him if he liked the course and had ever played it before at the Belfry, before turning around and seeing a big picture of him on the board holding the trophy from the previous year. And he said, yeah, quite like the course. Yeah. Really nice about it, wasn't he? So,
to date, his only win on professional win on the European tour.
I forgot about it right in front of his face.
Yeah, like that's his biggest life achievement ever.
Yeah.
And some Ponzi journalist has rocked up to do a Whitby.
A Whitby.
And done that in front of him.
But he took it really well, really nice, really friendly. And
bag?
just an interesting bag. Putter I really liked. His caddy hates his putter, which I thought was really funny. He's been trying to get him to switch out of it. But he's vehemently sticking to it because he likes it. And yeah, just an interesting bag setup for someone who swings it as quick and as strong as him. So worth a listen.
Well, let's head over to the Belfry now with Joe and Niklas.
Right, we are here at the British Masters and we are very fortunate to have someone who's had great success here, Niklas Norgaard. Good to see you.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to have a little look in your golf bag, aren't we?
Go ahead.
We're going to see the tools of the trade. So full Titleist staffer. So we're going to start with driver, and you're in a slightly older model of the driver. So you're in the TSR3, 10 degrees on the A1 standard setting, and you've got a very meaty shaft in here. So the Ventus TR Blue in 8X. You don't often see people playing shafts that heavy at that end of the bag. I can see you're a big guy. Mm-hmm. Talk me through that. Is it just a swing speed and stability thing?
It really is. I just want to get it pretty much as stiff as I can get for more control. All my game come down to me hitting the driver well, because I can sometimes hit it a long way, but I can also hit it very wide. Very wide. Yeah. So if this one is in play, I'm in a really good spot. So yeah, this one is important to me.
Okay. Yeah. Are you how in depth are you with your gear? Are you someone who likes to know a lot about the individual specs, or are you someone who's just, right, I'm going to let them get on with it and tell me what to play, or are you somewhere in the middle?
I'm not a gearhead.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you couldn't tell me how much this shaft's tip, things like that?
No idea.
I bet it's a lot.
Yeah.
And I've noticed throughout mid-size grips as well, quite thicker grips. Any extra layers of tape under there, or just straight on with a mid-size?
Two layers of tape and then mid-size.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And what sort of shape are you generally off the tee with this? Are you pretty neutral, or?
No, I'm a draw.
Okay.
And then I have my draw shot, like a high draw, and then I have my fairway finder, which is a low cut.
Peg down a little bit more and squeeze it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then we go down into 3 wood, and this is probably, other than putter actually, your only sort of non-Titleist club. We're in the TaylorMade QI35 fairway wood, the HL version, high launch, 16.5 degrees, lofted down just a fraction, and in another 8X Ventus black shaft. Talk me through why you've gone for this 3 wood and what you like about it.
So I have been a TaylorMade player before, and I just like the look of it. I think it's pretty difficult to find a 3 wood, and it's just what I grew up with, and I just like how it looks, and yeah, I don't actually use it a lot. It's probably the least used club in my bag. I always tend to go with the driver if there's a chance to go with the driver.
All right, that leads me to a question I was just thinking of then. If I allowed you another club this week, 15 clubs, or in general, where do you reckon you'd load the bag? Would you stick something more at this end? Are you going to fill a gap in with wedges? If I gave you that magic wish, what would you take?
Probably. So the only thing I'm switching in and out is the hybrid versus the 2-iron.
Okay.
So probably take a 2-iron in. I would.
And keep that in as a permanent fixture, yeah.
Yes.
So hybrid going to be in this week?
It will be. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got GT3, 19 degrees on the A1 setting. Again, very meaty shaft, HB 10X Ventus Blue. How far would you be carrying this?
So I'm in meters. From the T, it's about 245 meters.
270-ish.
Yeah, so what I like about the hybrid is there's much more variety of shots compared to the 2-iron. So the 2-iron is good off the tee, just let it roll. But this one, I can hit it soft into a par 5, or I can hit it low off the tee. So just more variety.
Got a bit of versatility. I noticed you've got, I hope you noticed this, a little bit of extra weight in the toe versus the heel. So you've got 11 grams in the toe, 3 grams in the heel. Is that just to take a bit of left out of it? Or is that news to you?
I don't know. Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
No, it's good. Well, it seems like a good setup, so you should be absolutely fine. Notice you've got some newer product in the irons here. So in the new T-Series, new T100s, 4-iron through 9-iron. I was chatting to Casper, your caddy, off camera, and he said you used to be in blades, and you've just more recently made this switch. What did you like about the new T100s?
So I have a big issue with the jumpers, flyers from the semi-rough, and these ones are just a little bit more spinny from the semi-rough, and that's also what I have been seeing. So it's more into strategy that I have to get used to that, because I just saw them just fly out there. But these are actually more controllable from the semi-rough.
Yeah, so we were fortunate enough to get fitted for these out in the States on a podcast episode, and that was a big thing, the new grooves they've added, particularly down the bottom end of the bag to avoid those flyers. And a lot of the people I've been talking to put these straight in. I think you and Ferguson's just put them straight in, seeing exact same thing, that lack of jumpers. That's big for you guys. You've got to be predictable, right?
Yeah, huge. And when I hit half my shots from the rough, it's important.
Do you think it's half? Could be, couldn't it? Then we go down into the wedges. So you're, it tends to be 50-50 people, where they play a set pitching wedge or a specialist pitching wedge. You're a specialist pitching wedge guy. Got a lot of stamping on here. I need to know, in your 50, I need, for the love of God, to know what Mofty Makowski is.
That's my dog's name is Wilma. So Mifty Machowski is short for Wilma.
That's not short for anything. That's long.
That's the nickname. So that's just a shout out to Will from Titleist. Okay. Some good drawings here.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a lovely bit of artwork, isn't it? So we go 46 degree pitching wedge, 50 in the gap wedge, 5410S in the sand wedge. We got 58A plus grind, bent to 59. It also looks like it's had a bit of extra grind work on there. How does that work for you?
So that's the one I've been working the most with, just trying to find the right grind. And I've been between this one and the K. Yeah. And just this one with a little bit grinded off is just easier for me to interact with the ground. Okay, so you've been playing a lot around the world in recent years. Are you someone who tries to adapt the wedge to the different grasses that you have to cope with in different conditions? Obviously, say the open, burnt out and firm, coming here is a little bit softer. Are you someone who adapts your technique to that, or do you try to change your wedges to get that done? So I would do it when it's soft or firm, but let's say we play 7 different types of grass this year. I wouldn't change it every time, but just when it's on the opposite sides of the scale. On the extremities. Yeah, exactly. I would change around. Okay, cool. Yeah. Into putter. Now, I'm sure Casper Caddy won't mind me saying, he said, it's not a big fan of your putter and the look, is it? He called it ugly. Yeah, it's so ugly. It's a bit unkind. Yeah, I know, but I'm getting used to people saying that now. I'm in the ugly putter crew. I've got an Odyssey toe up number 9 that everyone hates, so I fully empathise. I think it's beautiful. It reminds me of the old, do you remember the Ram Zebra? I know exactly what you're talking about. There you go. My pro from my golf club has had it for 30 years, the Zebra. So, yeah. And there we go. So it's centre shafted Tuttle. Have you been in this long? Why did you go in this? It feels like you've been in it long. There's some battle scars on there, isn't there? Yeah, I was in it way back, and then a year ago, I had to move, and I found it in my basement 2 weeks before this week last year. Put it in my bag. Won last year, and now it's been in since. For context, everyone watching, I asked Niklas if he'd played here before and liked the course before we started, before remembering him picking up the trophy very quickly after that. So that was a tough scene. And in terms of golf ball, what are you playing, Niklas? I'm in the Pro V1 Star, which is a low launch, high spin. So it's quite unusual for higher speed guys to hitting so little spin. So little spin, but I'm hitting so little spin that I need to be in the very spinny golf ball.
Why do you think that is in terms of your delivery mechanics? Because we spoke to Marco Penge earlier, who's similar speed to you, very quick sort of player, and he's again been fighting too much spin, and all of the high speed players seem to fight spin. What is it about your delivery? You just shaft lean?
I'm leaning it quite a bit, and I can tend to hit it a little bit because I lean it so much on the top of the club face, especially on the driver, and there you just get a dead ball flight. So when that's my off shot, I need to just compensate for that. And I give up a little bit of distance on the ball, but I just gain so much control.
Yeah, because I was kind of surprised to see you in someone of your speed and stature in like a 10-degree head, but then I think to players like Dustin Johnson of his speed, big shaft lean, he's like a 12-degree player. So it's not all about speed, is it? It's about your individual delivery. Anything else in the bag? Do you have any like go-to training aids that you use week to week?
No, I would probably say that the most important thing I have is the thing I mark my ball with.
Yeah.
So I need to have a full line around it. Otherwise, I cannot.
To match up with the Ram Zebra.
Exactly. And then I just put it in, draw around. But if we don't have this tool, we cannot draw all the way around and we're in trouble.
You're done for.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's important for Casper to keep an eye on.
It really is, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, I'm glad you liked the course. I'm glad you played here before. And I wish you all the best for the week. That was brilliant.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Cheers, Niklas.
Yeah.
Good interview.
Thank you.
But why do you think? How much influence do caddies have? I guess it depends on the kind of caddy on equipment. You mentioned just before the interview, like caddy's like, "Oh, this is horrible." Is he really in his ear, or is the caddy just not like it from a personal point of view?
No, it sounded like it. It sounded like it was a running joke between them, and I've heard instances of caddies kind of having a word with the tour rep from a specific company and saying, "Look, can you get in his ear here? This club, every time we pull it out, it goes 30 yards right, but he's adamant he likes it." And they'll just, they'll work as a team to maybe plant the seed that that's not working, that particular driver or whatever it might be. Because the caddy's livelihood's on the line as well there. It's very
good point.
Directly corresponds to how well they're doing in tournaments, to how much the caddy earns to take home. So you can see why they would be concerned about that. And it's, I guess in some ways you'd think that's treacherous from the caddy going behind the player's back, but he's got the player's best interest at heart because he's got his own best interest at heart. So yeah, really funny to hear that. But I enjoyed spending time with him. Just one of those, let's not finish on a negative, but sometimes sounds
like you're going down a negative path.
Feels like it's been one of those days. Some of the people leave you with the feeling that you bothered them, that you were a nuisance, that they'd much rather not be talking to them. And I get it. I totally get it. They're there to do a job. I don't think I would. I think I'd be really...
Do you think you'd be really into it?
I'd love to think I'd be nice and accommodating. I just think people have got jobs to do, and I try and I think they're the type of people that would be rude to waitresses or waiters. Yeah. And I always try and make a point of they're doing the best they can, and let's be nice to everyone. So I'd like to think I'd be doing that in the same scenario. Not everyone's the case, but Niklas was lovely.
Everybody, why aren't you like that with me?
I think we're over familiar now. But yeah, Niklas was not one of those. He was a lovely man. Couldn't give us enough time. Super friendly and just was smiling and looked happy to be there, which was nice.
See you next week. No idea what's coming next week. We're about to record these. This is the last one. Will I be in a hat or not? Mm-hmm. Will the abuse have sent me over the edge?
Yeah, make sure do get in the comments down below because we need feedback. Dan needs that.
I need validation.
Or otherwise.
Or otherwise. Let me know. Be honest and be friendly.
Do you want to try another one before we finish?
Yeah.
Because people might just not like that one.
But I've been to LA, can you tell?
Yeah.
I like this one. This
quite
one
like a structured peak, don't you?
Well, I think because of my massive head, it needs to be. The Ping one I've gone as a bit of a trucker one. Picked this up from Arizona last time we were there.
Nice, yeah, don't mind it.
Okay, well...
yeah, feedback down below, thank you.
We'll see you next week for more equipment chat. Until then, tell your friends, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Bye, Joe.
Bye.